Welcome into Unbreakable, a mental health podcast with Jay Glazer. And, listen, my guest here, I've been friends with him for a long time, but I don't have too many guests who are one of one. And I say one of one. He is the most successful and most decorated Olympian in the history of the Olympics. I mean, 28 medals, still holds the all-time record for most gold medals. But he is my brother in the gray and the blue. And, what I thought, and for people out here, first time here, what I thought when I was going through my battles with mental health, depression, anxiety, when I got to the top, it'd be all rainbows and unicorns. And that just wasn't the case. So I said, you know what? I want to turn to my brother here, the one and only Michael Phelps, who again, the only similarities between us is that we battle the same thing, but we use it to overcome. And to overcome, what goes on between our ears, but also to do greater things. So, man, I'm so honored to have the one and only Michael Phelps here. How are you, brother?
Cheers. Good. Yeah, just another day, right? As you were saying, it's another day of us fighting or going through the battles that we go through. And yeah, you said it perfect, right? There are days that we feel like we're on top of the world, and there are days we feel the worst we've ever felt. So how do we battle? How do we maneuver through those things? And I mean, for me lately, as you know, I've been struggling with the loss of my father, and it's been ups and downs. But the one thing I've tried to do is stay into my routine. For me, workout is something that makes me me. It's a part of my self-care. I just got out of a cold tub too. So
I do that too. Yep.
So there are certain things that I have to continue to do to make this as best as it can be. So
between your ears. So let me ask you this. And there's so many ways you and I can go. And first of all, you just talked about your dad. And it's cool the bond we have now that we're so open about this, because when your dad passed, you reached out to me.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to tell people, reach out to your teammates, reach out to people that get you or don't get you. Everybody wants to help you. So I was so honored that you felt safe enough to come and reach out to me that day. That was amazing, brother.
And I'm thankful. And some of the words that you shared with me that day, I still go back to a lot. And wow. Yeah, I've actually screenshot that message just so I never forget, because wow. There are a few moments that it just, it helps you just process things. And I think that was the coolest thing in life. Like, there was, we'd gone back and forth and played phone tag here and there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, shit, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to reach out to. And I just snapped. I was like, Jay, I'm gonna text Jay. So I'm thankful you were there. And again, the advice and the wisdom you gave me, I'm thankful for.
I'm proud to be there. And that's what, man, I got goosebumps, man, just saying that. It's cool because we need a team and you need to be of service, so to be there for your brother or anybody that reaches out when we're going through this. So I want to ask you this, and that's being of service, just being there for anybody. But I want to ask you this. Is yours an everyday battle? Like for me, it's hard for me to get out of bed every single day of my life. And this isn't a new thing. Yeah. This has been around for a while. Is it that way for you?
There are months or weeks where, it's like that. There's, I guess I call it seasonal depression. There's a like a 6-week stretch from basically like second, third week in October through the middle of November. So I'm in it. Where I've had some pretty large things happen to me in my life, and
some traumas that you went through,
broken bones, kind of a bunch of different things. So I just know this is a moment where I need to make sure I'm aware and keeping in touch with everything that's going on. If my body's telling me a certain thing, listen to it. Don't stuff it down.
Right. When did you realize you were, I guess, listen, I like to say different, because I like to say different's good. Like, motherfucker, I'm different.
Yeah, for sure.
When did you realize you were different?
I mean, I'd like to say all the way back at 11 when Bob told me that I mean, not like I'm thinking like career wise, like I'm going back to 11 when my coach said that you could make the Olympic team in 4 years. And I was like, I don't know if that's just him talking shit or, if him actually believing it. Right. So, but as a kid at that point, I was like, yeah, cool. I'm all in. Let's go. And then
sure, I made the Olympics at 15, no problem.
sure. Right. And then sure enough, 4 years later, bang, it happens. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like, I was like, all right, maybe this guy's not crazy.
Right.
Or maybe, yeah, I am different. But also at the same time, like I felt that I was normal, because I was doing something that I loved.
Bro, you're not fucking normal. You know that, right?
Oh, I know that. For sure.
Okay.
For sure. And you know what I was thinking?
I want to make sure of that.
I was thinking about it today a little bit, like, like I was thinking, like trying to win 8 gold medals, like I was trying to do something that no one had ever done before, right? There was no blueprint, right? Like if I want to try to change the time on my phone or like the text on my phone, like I can, if I don't know how to do it, I can look that up.
Right.
There's no book that says here, this is how you win 8 gold medals, right? So I had to basically figure it out, trial and error.
Okay.
And I think that makes me who I am. The process of things makes me who I am.
All right. So now, when did you realize you were different mental health wise? Like when did you first realize you suffered from the gray?
That I accepted from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably accepted from it in like 2014. But
when did you know it? Like, did you always known it?
Yeah, that was a few times, a few instances through my mental health journey, right? Like that was a few pretty big public depression spells that I had gone through. Then I was like, oh shit, maybe I need to try to figure this thing out. Maybe I need to try to not tame it, but learn it, right? Figure out why I am how I am, right? Because it's like, it's not going to change, like you said it, right? Like you wake up every day and it's a struggle, like
day.
Shit, like for me, like my depression, I can't snap my fingers and have it just go away. I can't just snap my fingers and have my anxiety go away, right? So it's like, how do I maintain it? How do I just be me and be okay with being who I am?
But you came out early.
Yeah.
Earlier than most to talk about it. That's pretty fucking courageous.
I just didn't care, honestly. Like
you didn't, huh?
No, I was just like, I was kind of just sick and tired of feeling how I was. Like, yeah, I was still able to go and swim and train, but I think I used that anger and that frustration in the pool. Like I kind of think I helped, like that helped me become who I was, but maybe not in a healthy way. But then like in the outside world, I didn't know how to deal with it. So I think in 14, like that's where I was just, after my second DUI, I was like, okay, I got to figure something out. Like what's going on? Why am I acting out? Why am I screaming for help? And in reality, that's what it was, right? I didn't know how to ask for help. So at that point, I was just like, yeah, like it is what it is. This is who I am. And here you go. But like thinking back to that interview, and it's still crazy because it was Tim Layden who did the piece. And I don't know the question that he asked me that made me just blah and open up. We were sitting there doing like the cover story for the Olympics going into, the 2016 games. And I just opened up and ever since that point forward, I was just like, yeah, here you go. Yeah, like today I feel like a piece of shit. Today I want to be, 6 feet underground. Today, I don't want to do anything. Today, I don't want anybody to talk to me. Right. I'm just in one of those moods. And no, like sometimes a hug won't help. Sometimes it's me just taking time by myself, taking that peace and quiet. Right. So it just depends, like it's that cycle. Like I use the term riding the roller coaster. Like if I send the roller coaster emoji, I'm just all over the place.
Okay. I think I'm starting to figure you out too when they come in. But you just said it too, and people don't understand. I go, man, I get this all the time. How could you want to be 6 feet under? I mean, look at you. You're the TV Hall of Fame. You've done this and ballers and fighting and football and NFL on Fox. And I'm like, yeah, but fuck that. Like my life is great, but between my ears sucks.
We're human.
Right. And people don't understand, but people are going to look at you and go, Michael Phelps, how could you want to feel 6 feet underground?
Yeah.
So do you know what led to your pain?
I think I'm learning more about it.
Okay.
I think for me, like there was a lot of compartmentalization from, decades. A lot of it, and to be honest, was, you know, not having a dad. Like my
Yeah.
parents divorced very young, and it's not having a dad. My dad's dad also passed when he was very young, so he
Yeah.
didn't have a dad, right? So he didn't really understand how to fully be there and support a child and be there when he needs to, right? And I can't blame him, but like for me, like I use that as motivation now every day for my kids, right? So it's
Right.
trying to change that cycle, and I think part of it is obviously it's learning, it's going through the process. And for me, I think in 2014, I was able to have a really good conversation where I got a lot of stuff off my chest, and we were able to talk a lot and just uncover a lot of the stuff that we probably were both holding on to for decades. So I think that was really cool and really special. But I think it's like now it's just learning how I was raised and understanding it and processing it, and but it's also not pointing blame too. Like we were raised how we were raised, and it is what it is. Our parents did the best that they could. If we want change, then we have to change. And I'd like to see change in a mental health front. So for me, I look at it in a different way than my parents ever did, than they probably ever could process.
It's funny. I had dinner at my folks. I don't see them a lot. My mother tells me earlier this year, "Oh, I've suffered from anxiety my whole life, and so did your grandma." I'm like, well, how about a heads up here? Like, it's the first time I'm hearing about this.
Thanks.
I'm 52. Like, fuck, thanks a lot now. I mean, God, because for me, it's always, I don't know any way to not feel this way. Like my entire life as a little kid, my earliest childhood memory, I was brought upstairs kicking and screaming and crying and usually punished. And man, I just felt like you said, like the universe, like the universe hates me, like the world's going to come crashing down around me. And that pain for people who don't suffer from it, it fucking sucks. It's for me, it's a visceral physical reaction.
Yeah.
When you get your attacks, do you feel it physically also?
At times, I think it just depends where my head is.
Like where? Mine's kind of specific.
Yeah.
I get mine on the left side of my gut, behind my rib cage, like I'm having a heart attack, and my joints.
No,
bad.
I mean, there are times I think like it's more of just like I want to crawl in a ball.
Okay.
Right? Like I just want to just like I don't know if it's like physical pain. Like I think there were times where there was once where I was in such a dark phase, and like I haven't talked about this much, but I actually took like a golf cleat and hit myself in the head. Like I was so pissed off. I mean, this is probably like 6-7 years ago. And as soon as I did that, I was like, okay, I need to figure something out, right? Like if my life has gotten to this point, and it wasn't like a cleat, like it wasn't like metal cleats, but like it didn't feel good. Like looking back, but also like cleat. Yeah, but like looking back at it now, like I can laugh, like I can laugh about it because like I think it's the acceptance.
That's a lot of pain though to be in, brother.
For sure,
to do that
for sure. But I think like and the biggest thing and going back to like my parents, like I don't here you go, the horse is the small little horse, we have a great name. Like going back to my parents, like it's the acceptance, right? Like I love my parents to death, I always will, but it's the acceptance of these things, these moments, these pains, these traumas, right? Like like if I don't want to sit and stuff because I'm not going to be able to grow and learn from those experiences and then try to teach my kids how to deal with those things, right? So I think that is the hardest part for me. And I think like thinking back, like that soccer or that lacrosse cleat, like I mean lacrosse, no, I played lacrosse, that golf cleat, like I can think back to certain times like that and I can always know kind of the pain that I was going through, but I can also look at the transformation, right? I think for me, like I can go back to what I was feeling when I was at the Meadows where, almost every day I didn't want to be alive and I hated myself and I couldn't look at myself in the mirror because I saw a swimmer and that was it. Now I got to the point, or I'm at the point now where, I can see this kid with a man bun and, like whatever, like I can see this, I can see me for who I am. I can see myself for a human being. And I think that is something that because of the growth, because of the acceptance, because of the things that I've gone through, like that's why I am how I am. And like I love it this way, right? Like, you know, like I think back to, you know, points where I was afraid to even open up and talk about it.
Right.
You know, I think that was the craziest thing, because now I'm to the point I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, I'm having a bad day. I'm like, honey, yep, one of those days, like, just giving you a heads up, like,
Yeah.
could be a little cuckoo today, like, could be off.
You know, you just revealed that. I've never revealed this, but when I have those self-loathing moments, I punch myself in the head
Yeah,
or the face.
I've done that.
And it's like, man, you're just so self-loathing. And that's it. So I appreciate you sharing that with me, and then figure I got to share that with you. And I still do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I also go, you know what? I know I could do a lot of damage with these hands.
Yeah, for sure.
Others, I'd rather do it to me than somebody else.
Yeah.
But I also look like I deserve it half the time. And we don't deserve it. We fucking don't deserve it.
Oh,
It
not at
sucks
all.
that we go down that path.
Yeah. Like I'll ask, like, in those times, like, what have you found as outlets that help you? Right. Like, besides that, like, have you tried anything else? You know, like for me, like I always go to working out, you know, like
Yep.
I have to get in there. Like, you know, like you've hit me multiple times. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I'm in the gym. Like, I'll hit you right after I'm done. But what are other things, you know, like,
For me,
is it meditation? Is it writing
yes.
down? You know,
I started, so I went to Thailand this off season for 35 days. I told you about that, right? And they made me really, and I've sent you some of these notes. They made me really heal that little kid in me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I love you said that. Yes.
Right. That little, you know, holding little
inner
Jason's
child.
hand.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And, but so now every day, before I ever look at my phone, I now get up, I do breath work for 10 minutes, right? I meditate for 5 of things I'm grateful for. Then I write down 10 things I'm grateful for from the previous day that made me happy. Yeah. And it's hard sometimes for a lot of but you know what? I'll make it. It could be something materialistic. It could be just something somebody said. It could be a memory I had, whatever it is. So I do all that. And then I'll get a 10-minute workout in before I ever look at my phone. And that usually gets me, it'll calm me down. It'll calm me down. It's a better way for me to start the day than to start the day thinking that the universe is ending and the universe hates me and my sky is falling.
So do you look back at those things ever?
That
you write down?
That I write down?
Yeah.
All the time. So originally it was 100. They told me to do 100, write a gratitude list of 100 things I'm grateful for my whole life. And brother, you think it'd be so easy for somebody like me or somebody like you. Holy fuck, was that hard? You know, because you don't feel like you deserve any of it. So you don't want to write it down because you're almost like either you're jinxing yourself or you feel shittier about yourself. Like, oh, now you're just bragging. Like, fuck, it's terrible. So, but then once I did, it was like God and the universe. Oh, my son says he loves me. And my son said this to me one time. Well, my dog gives me kisses. And when I first adopted my dog, I got the coolest little rescue pit. And like, her first day, and you know, buying houses and being on Fox NFL Sunday and my whole Fox NFL Sunday crew and walking fighters down to a cage for championship fights and fuck, there's a million. It could be a pair of shoes, whatever it was. But I got 100, and now I read that 100. So I was reading that whole 100 list every single morning, and now I've expanded it where every day I write an extra 10, and then I usually still go back to that 100 when I'm down. Yeah. When the roommates in my head are not playing nicely together, I'll go back to that original 100 and read that.
Yeah, that's like the one thing for me. Like whenever I have, like, I call it the feedback loop from hell. Like, and that, like, the shit up here just keeps going and going and spinning and spinning and spinning. And like, I get to that point where like, I feel like I'm going to blow. It's like, how do I get myself out of that moment? Right. So I always have like not 100, but it's like, I have like 10 different journals or like little notepads sitting here. And some of them are the bad days. Some of them are good days. Some of them's to-do lists, like all this stuff. Right. I am in that moment where I'm spinning. I try to go back and I look, or I just get it all out. Right. Because like, they're like during those good days, like you have so many good thoughts, you feel like you're on top of the world, nothing can get in your way. But then it's like for me, I can turn like that. Okay. And if I turn, this goes on. So then it's like, okay, how do I get back to that living in the neutral, living in the moment? Okay. And it's like I go back to all the notes that I have and just the memories, right? Because and I feel like it's the same thing you're doing by that, but like by what you just said. Right. It's like, you know, like those thoughts and memories they're probably, for me, it's like little things that trigger something. And it's like, how do I control that? And the only way I can control it is either getting it out, or like for me is looking at something from the past.
Interesting.
Because I want to calm myself down, right? So like I ask, just because in like those moments where, you know, we're like where we are hitting ourselves, like how can we stop that? You know, like like my wife says to me, she's like all the time, she's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I know I can't do that.
Right.
Like, no shit. Like I know I couldn't do that. Like I want to be able to stop that. But you know, like for me, it's how do I get to that point where I do stop it and I can control it and I can help myself.
Isn't it cool that we could talk about these things so openly now, where
right?
we hid it for all those years, right?
Yep.
It's just so cool. It's like, and that's why I'm proud of you talking about it. I'm learning to be proud of me talking about it. And again, I'm still a work in progress, knowing that we could change this world. You know, we
100%.
could.
Bro, I had this thing. I had this thing the other day. I was here, must have been like 2,500 people or something. And the guy I was moderating with, he's like, hold your phone up in the air if you know somebody or you're going through some kind of mental health struggle. 75% of the room had their phones up. And they said, now keep your phone in the air if you've gone through suicidal ideation. 75% of people had their hand up in the air. I was floored. Number one, because I think, well, I think for a number of reasons. I think number one, because I was so happy that people were honest and open.
Yeah.
Right. Because what we just talked about, right? Like, yeah, it's hard as hell to open up and talk about it. But once you do open up, like that awareness is so powerful. So like for me, I was happy inside, because at the chance, like we have an opportunity to potentially save a life. Right.
Yes. And you don't have to suffer in silence. The
Correct.
silence part is what kills.
And number two, I was like, oh my God, the world has changed. Right. Like, you know, like people are okay not being okay. Yeah. You know, like 5 years ago, like we never would have thought, or nobody would have lifted that mat up underneath, or up from the problems that we're hiding underneath of them and talking about them. So it's like all of these things, I feel like it's just so powerful. And yeah, we're making great progress, but there's so much more.
Yeah, because it's too reactive. We're not proactive enough. Like people need to do what you and I are doing for our mental health before the skies fall. Like even if they don't think they have an issue, they need to start doing this, or just when times are good, get a routine. Because look, mental health, they'll go to therapists after it's too late, right? Yep. So you don't only swim when your time is up. You do it all the fucking time.
All the time. Or I love it. Like they're like, no, we can't get a therapy appointment for 6 weeks. And like 6 weeks comes up and they're like, oh no, I don't need to go anymore. I'm fine. Right. No, actually you're not. You're not fine. I have one thing for fine. It's freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. And you can only be fine on Mondays.
I like that. Holy shit. I like that a lot.
We used to say that. My coach, my mom, and I used to always say that back in the day.
you just said something also like, man, I can't get a therapy appointment for 6 weeks. That is a problem. It's a huge problem. But what we can do is what you did recently is like, are you struggling? You reached out to me. Like we could be each other's therapists and lean on each other. And it gets us like, I don't know about you, man, but every time I've opened up to somebody, and my friends are the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. You know who they are.
Yeah.
The most macho people of all time. It has just gotten us closer together. Nobody's called me a wuss. Nobody's told me to suck it up. Nobody said, oh, stop, Jay, man, your life is too great. But it's just gotten us closer together. Have you had the same?
100%. Like there are few people that honestly, like I like I've always respected, but I never thought I'd be as close as I am because of that. Right. Like, I feel like there are a few random people in my life that I've become friends with who just send a random text. And I look down, I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? You know, like always puts a smile on my face, or like, you know, always like I feel safe and comfortable with. So I feel like that's something that's so special. Yes, building that brotherhood, building that trust, that bond. It's something that it's hard to put into words, but it's cool. It's cool.
Here's another thing I do, by the way, I forgot. When I am struggling, I will do what you did. I'll reach out to 4 of my boys and say, I'm struggling today. I need some help. But the same day, I'll reach out to 4 other people and just check up on them.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying, like, oh, random text, because that's me being of service to somebody else. And that also helps me cut through the gray. I didn't want to forget that.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like that's so true, because it's like what you do, you get back 10 times, right? You know, like, and that right then, like you reaching out, like you're opening up, like you're becoming vulnerable, like you're being a friend to somebody else that potentially is going through the same thing, you know? So I feel like that's awesome.
So a couple weeks ago, I had on Andrew Whitworth, the captain of the Rams, right?
Yeah, sure.
Big, you know,
yeah.
Looks like me, except 8 feet taller. So extremely sexy. But man, I'm with him in the car after they win the Super Bowl. And he opened up about this on this podcast. And he was in the fucking tank. It's the greatest moment of his career. He wins it all. He's the oldest person to ever start at tackle in the history of the NFL, much less than be a captain in the Super Bowl game. And he's in the front seat of the car with his head in his hands, and he is in the tank. And I am trying to boost him up, saying, dude, he's like, I don't deserve it. Like, I'm not worthy of this. When you win your gold medals, are you able to celebrate yourself? I just heard you already grown. Are you able to celebrate yourself, or do you go through something similar?
It's hard because, like, you know, I think once I win one, I had to be able to, like, in one ear out the other, right? Because there was 6 or 7 more that I was trying to swim or win that week. At the end of the week, it's hard to sit still because I'm on a whirlwind tour, right? Like that first week, 2 weeks, you're jumping all over the place doing different shows. But I think after that, it's kind of like, what's next? Who am I? What's my identity? And I think that's the scary part, right? Because I think you work so hard for me anyway, I feel like I work so hard to get to that point, and at the snap of your fingers, it's gone, it's done, it's finished.
It's not gone. You did it.
Yeah, but
that's the problems we have, right? It's
I guess but I never sat and celebrated. Like I never.
Wow.
I guess I never could. Like I mean, I remember, I'll never forget, when I won my first one back in 2004, the very first day of the Olympics, the 400 IM, I went 408, and I win, and I, have the medal, share it with my mom through a chain link fence, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's so awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, we did it." And my coach is like, "Hey, we got to warm down. We got another race tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh great, like cool." I shove it in my bag. All right, cool. Time to go to the next one. Like that's basically what it was.
Wow.
So my career, I would say I've gotten through 2008. I've been able to process everything to that point. 2012 for me is one of the most challenging Olympics of my life, because I wasn't happy with the results, but again, I got the results that I deserved. So it's hard for me to watch those races because I literally was off by that. But then again, if I don't do that, then I don't come back for 16. So it's just trying to process all of that stuff. But yeah, it's I've never been able to celebrate, but I think
to this day, have you since been able to sit back and go, "Oh man, what do you mean no?" Well, dude, you need to. You deserve to. More than anything, you deserve to. You put that work in. You spilt that sweat. You deserve to. That's something you got to work on, is being able to love yourself up. Something that, again, it's exactly the same thing I was talking about with Whit. Like, we deserve to love ourselves up. We do something that is great.
I'm not saying I'm not proud. I'm not happy of the accomplishments, but I mean, I feel like also I'm somebody who is so detail oriented. So it's hard for me to sit and try to really process every single moment and memory like I want to. I'm in the process of just finishing a book. I just got the second.
Is it called Unbreakable?
It's not.
Asshole.
I just got the second manuscript. We ripped up the first one and went back and kind of reprogrammed everything into the right spot. So I'm finishing that, and hopefully that's out soon.
Oh, you're finishing your own book. I thought you meant you were reading a book.
No,
That's how I was like, you asshole, not read my book. Yeah.
no, I'm finishing mine. Yeah. So
Good for you.
I'm super pumped about it. And I think that's something that will help me process some of it too, right? Being able to read it and see it all on paper. I think living it through the pandemic was challenging emotionally. But I think it was also really cool because I was able to learn and grow through those emotions that I went through, right?
So I want to get back to this. You get a gold medal.
Yep.
We see you really, really happy out there going nuts, but you're not that happy on the inside. Is that for show?
I can't be, because I have to be able to control the emotions and really everything, my physical, mental, everything, well-being through those next few days, because I don't want to say I can't, but I shouldn't really kind of pour too many emotions into one event, because then I'm draining myself for the whole entire week. So when I won 8 gold medals in 2008, that process started back in 2002 when I was trying to learn how to adapt to swimming that many races and clear my lactic acid and swim down and eat enough and sleep enough and do all and stretch enough and make sure I'm doing all the small details. So after I win a gold medal, what I would do is typically I get off of the award stand. It depends if I had another race or not. If I was done for the night, I would typically just I'd probably get back in and clear my lactic acid. So we'd prick our ear, take a blood sample. My lactic acid had to be below anything below 3.0, and I'm good. So I would just swim at my heart, like I'd keep my heart rate at about 120, and I would just swim comfortably up and down, up and down, up and down until my lactic acid cleared. Once it was cleared, I'd hop out of the pool. I'd hop on the massage table, get a stretch, or get a massage. So I'd hop up on the massage table, get a massage. Once I'm done the massage, I get a dinner that they have pre-made. Typically it's like pasta, some kind of carb, a little bit of protein. I jump into a cold bath. I'm eating while I'm in the cold bath. I get out of the cold tub, put all my clothes on, get on the bus, still eating. If I'm still hungry, go into the dining hall and get food. By that point, I need to get into bed because I swim the next morning.
Right.
So I have no time
but
control those emotions.
The day after you win 8 fucking gold medals, are you able to sit and go, oh my God, I did this?
Yeah, but I still had to come on and do all the interviews with y'all.
Hey, I'm in football. Don't say y'all. But were you able to, still there's never a moment, even when you're doing the interviews, where you're able to,
I blew some steam offshore
and love yourself up for it. Love yourself up. Really? Okay. Since your career's ended, and we ran into you in Vegas. I was with Sean McVay, right? And McVay was like, dude, you're one of one. I'm like, yes, he's one of one. Are you able to appreciate that
I love that conversation. Yeah. And honestly, until somebody breaks my records, I guess I'm one of one.
Yes. No, there's no guessing here. You're one of one, dude.
I guess the one thing that is crazy, like thinking about it now, I've only looked at the medals all at once less than a handful of times.
Why?
I guess the easiest way of saying is I don't want them to define who I am as a human, right? Like that's a chapter of who I am and what what I feel like I am doing or what I'm supposed to do, right? Like for me, like that gave me the platform to be able to have what I have today, right? To be able to stand up and to allow us to scream about mental health.
Right.
Look, yes, was it amazing what I did? Of course. Like I'm literally looking at a finish right now above my desk where I won a race by 100th of a second.
Right.
100th of a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, without question. Like there have been a few times I'm like, shit, like that was awesome. Like there's cool spots, like I had some great memories, some amazing things. But I think as a whole, no. Like when somebody reads a bio and they're like 23-time gold medalist, 28-time Olympic medalist, 39-time world record holder. I'm like, what? Like, is this a dream? Like, I feel like it is a dream because like, this is what I dreamt of as a kid. I wanted to do something that no one else had ever done. And I'm living a fucking dream come true. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality of it. So yeah, like there are some things that are really hard to process. And yeah, there are some things that I look and I'm like, wow, like this is incredible. And like, you know, part of like for me now, it's the mental health. That story I shared with you about the cell phones, that story for me, I will never forget. And I'll never forget how I felt. You know, I'll never forget sitting next to a guy on an airplane. This guy is probably like mid-60s, white-haired dude. And he was like, so you're telling me you just talk about mental health and you think that's going to help? And he goes, that's a sign of weakness. And I was like, and I literally was like, all right. I was like, okay, bro. I was like, we're on an airplane. I like take my headphones out. I'm like, all right, now we're getting serious. Like I wanted to go Tyson on him. Like I punch him.
How's he called Michael Phelps a sign of weakness? Are you shitting me?
Oh, I almost went nuts. And I was like, dude, I was like, okay. So I basically listed like 10 different things. I was like, do you or your family struggle from PTSD, you know, depression, anxiety, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
He goes, no. And I go, and how in the do you have any right saying exactly what you just said to me? And he goes, I've struck a nerve. And I said, yes, you have. I said, you've triggered something, sir. And I said, I'm going to finish this conversation right now.
Wow.
Because I didn't know, honestly, at that moment, like I was so raged. Like I was so angered inside. I didn't know what to do. And the only thing I could do is I knew I had to be as polite as I possibly could to shut the conversation down and get out. But it's like stuff like that, like that's the thing that makes me happy with the fights that I'm doing every single day, whether it's for me, whether it's for you, whether it's for somebody else, right? Because we're saving a life.
But I want you to go back a second here because we could have both. I want you to go back and say, maybe you don't want to say the gold medals defined you. Okay. But maybe you look at the gold medals and go, the work I put in for those, that defines me. That's who the fuck I am.
For sure. Yeah.
Right? You outworked the world. You didn't just put in work. You outworked the world.
There's a question somebody gave me once. And a European reporter goes, did you ever feel bad for winning all those medals? And I started laughing my ass off. I was like, excuse me? And he goes, do you feel bad for the other people? And I go, no. I go, they could have worked hard too.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Feel
like,
bad.
No,
what kind of question is that?
Like I earned those things, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
I mean, there was a day.
So then that could lift you up. Yes.
Sure. Like for me, like I look back and I'll look and say, I went 6 straight years without missing a single day. Did any other person ever do that? No. So I gave myself a better chance to have greater success with the things that I did that nobody else were willing to do. So no, I don't feel bad for winning all those medals.
So my point to you is maybe you could look at those medals more. Maybe you could look at the medals more though, and then think of that, right? Hey, I'm proud of myself because I put in more work than anybody else, not by a little, but by a lot. And not only that, Michael, you put in the work when nobody else was watching. That's what true greatness is, right?
Yeah, that Under Armour commercial I did, I guess back in 2016. Yeah, it's what you do behind the scenes in the dark that brings you to the light, right? Mm-hmm. It's the things that you do when you don't want to do them, right? That brings you into being who you are, right? That's what the greats do. Like that's the difference between being great and being good. Mm-hmm. You want to do great, you have to do things that people aren't willing to do, right? Like that's the separation.
So I got one more question here for you, and I appreciate your time. This has been
you're
amazing.
Good, man. No, and I'm literally a scatterbrain. Like as you, I mean, I feel like
this is great.
I'm all over the place. Like and the thing is I just love to talk. Like
yes, obviously me too. You've known me for a while.
Of course.
I don't got ADD. I got elemental P. I'm so far beyond. I ask all my guests their last question. Give me your unbreakable moment. Give me that moment that should have broken you, could have broken you, and you didn't, and you came through the other side of that tunnel.
It's probably the moment of not wanting to be alive. I think I was at a dark spot in my life where at that moment I was prescribed Ambien from 3 different doctors monthly. I was happy I only had 3 pills left. It was the night of my DUI, my second one. 2014. And I got home and I just remembered, I was like, fuck, I'm just going to take the rest of these and I hope I don't wake up. Meanwhile, like I knew I was going to wake up. Like I was taking 15 milligrams almost every night. Like I knew I was going to wake up. And I was just like, I hope this ends it. And I woke up and for 3 days, I basically didn't leave my room. I didn't eat. I didn't drink anything. I just sat there. I was just being. And at that very moment, I was just like, fuck this. I got to change. How can I change? And I literally called 2 people and I said, find me some kind of help. Where can I go? Because I honestly, like, it was kind of like the moment where I was like, I can't live life like this. I have to change. Something has to change. What has to change? So I was like, I'm going to check myself in a treatment center and figure things out, right? Unplug all those wires, decompress, like uncover all the shit that I was going through, why I was going through it, and kind of not reprogram, but kind of reprocess how I live and uncover why I am. Look, like when I went to the Meadows, I spent a week in this thing called Survivors, where it was basically taking everything that was ever hurting me inside and just unloading it, talking about the most painful things. I must have gone through, I'm looking for Kleenexes. I must have gone through a box of fucking Kleenexes every single session, every session. And right then and there, I was like, okay, nothing. I was like, I am unbreakable. I was like, this stuff literally should have broken me throughout my whole entire career, right? You know, the shit that I dealt with and I lived with and you know, made me struggle throughout my whole entire career, made me who I am. And that's what you said to me the other day in a text. You know, you said something along those lines. You know, it made me who I am today.
Yep.
Right. And at that very moment, like, yeah, I could have been snapped in half, but that's not who I am. And I wasn't going to let that happen. Right. And that's why I'm sitting here today talking to you on this podcast. Right. You know, like, shit, we all go through ups and downs. We all go through times that we think are unfathomable, shouldn't happen, darkest moments you could ever possibly process. But those moments, like, I always think like everything happens for a reason, and those moments are put in our life for that challenge. And yeah, are they fucked up at times? Sure, of course they are. Some of them, like, I can look back at some of them now and, you know, flick off and you know, shake my head and laugh. But you know, those are the moments that give me the opportunity to be who I am today. And I think that's the proudest thing that I can ever look at.
Brother, I love that, man.
You know, it's like, we got to think about the shit that we've gone through and the hard things we've gone through. And we always have to remember that, right? Like you said it best, like that inner child, man, that is so good. I love that you said that, because not many people have really like dove into that. And that's something that I can still go back to that painting that I drew when I was at the Meadows of my inner child, and exactly where he's standing and what he's doing and you know, what kind of person he is and the attention that he adores and he seeks. So yeah, I could go into deeper conversations with that whenever you want.
Brother, I appreciate you. First of all, I'm glad you only have 3 Ambien left.
Yeah, for sure.
That's number one, because now I get a battle buddy for the rest of my life, and you and I get to keep walking this walk together. I'm proud to call you brother, proud to call you a friend, man. I'm proud to walk this walk with you, dude.
If I was sitting there in your house, I'd give you a big ass hug, man. I will next time I see you.
You got it, my brother. Again, Michael Phelps, one of one. Thank you for joining us here at Unbreakable. If you haven't read the book yet, there's a book out, Unbreakable, How I Turn My Depression, Anxiety into Motivation. Yes. And you can too, and that's what Michael and I are doing. Again, make sure you like and review this as well. And Michael Phelps, brother, I love you and I appreciate you. I'm
gonna leave you with one more thing. So this is something I did when I was in treatment, and it's kind of weird to think about, but you know, we have so much talk that goes into our head every single day. So, you know,
I call it the roommates in my head.
Okay, so the roommates in our head. So we have so many roommates in our head, so we can control what those roommates think. So the thing that I did at the Meadows was every single doorway I would walk into, whether it's a bathroom, whether it's a bathroom stall, whatever doorway you're walking in and you're walking out, you say an affirmation about yourself, and one that you believe. And I guarantee you do that for a month, have a list of 10 affirmations you just have at the top of your head. Holy shit, just watch.
Like positive affirmations, you say.
Positive affirmations, yeah.
Something nice about myself.
Like for me, like I never thought that like I deserved love. And that was something
right there with you.
Always struggled with. And I would always say, I can handle love. I deserve love. And I walk through it and I'm like, oh shit, cool. Like yeah, like you just feel better. You feel happier. So I feel like, like I feel like it's like I'm always searching for little small ways or little small things that you can implement into your life that don't take too much brain power, right? That don't take too much space, right? Like little small habits, whatever it is, right? That you can just throw in there every single day to give yourself a fighting chance, right? Like we're all just looking for a chance to get through each day to go to one more. So how can you fight, and how can you fight in a positive way?
You know when I'm going to begin this? Today.
I love it.
I'm starting it today.
Text me in a week. Text me.
Absolutely. I'm starting it today. And that's where I tell people all the time, you could change your life now. You don't have to wait. It takes a fraction of a second. Change your life now. I will start it today. And that's what's great about these. Like I hit you up a couple of weeks ago about being your own hero, right? Start being your own hero. Start viewing yourself as your own hero. We can make a choice to start loving ourselves up or make a change about our mental health or anything in our lives instantaneously. So I promise you, I give you my word right now, I will start doing this today.
And now you bring me to another point. And choice, we also have control. What's in our control every single day, right? There's so much shit and so much stuff.
Our choice is in our control.
Correct. So yeah, that's something for me. I have 2 tattoos, and the word control is something I want somewhere on my body. So I look at every single day, because that's something I feel like for me, like I can control my emotions. I can talk about my emotions. I can talk about my feelings. I can write down those things, right? I can control if I'm thirsty. I can control if I need to go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, right? Those are things that are in my control. So when I talk about simplifying things in the most purest form, most simplest way, right? It's control. What can you control every day? Another little trick.
Love it. I love it, dude.
I got a couple.
I love it. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it. Hey, brother, I don't know if we're going to save the world, but we're damn sure going to improve it together.
One person at a time. Yep.
I love you, my dude. Michael Phelps. Thanks,
Appreciate
brother.
you, homie. Thanks, dude.